Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome to week 2 of our American Lit 3 class. Very excited to be touching base with you guys again. Hopefully you enjoyed our readings last week as we got to spend some time with Robert Frost in The Road Not Taken, as well as that really fun play. I hope you liked Trifles by Susan Glaspell. Really interesting themes in that piece. Lots of symbolism as she talks about the birdcage and murder and intrigue and women's roles in the world and cool stuff like that. So lots of good things to work with there. Hopefully you had fun reading that, taking notes, and I've been enjoying reading your Trifles homework notes very, very much. We talked a little bit last week about schema, Aristotle's idea of how we are shaped by our life experiences, and that shaping will color the way that we read a text or the way that we make sense of the world. So for example, my schema might be different than your schema because I was homeschooled up through 8th grade. So that, of course, changed the way I think about some things, right? It might make my schema a little bit different that I was a college athlete. That might change the way I think about teamwork or interactions of that sort. It might change my schema a little bit different from yours because I have a whole bunch of siblings, right? So our life experiences can shape the way that we read a text. I am a little obsessed with true crime sort of stuff. So that shapes my schema and makes me love plays like Susan Glaspell's Trifles, right? So we're each shaped a little bit differently, which means we have a really unique and awesome perspective we can offer. So reading through your notes, getting to see those nuanced differences in everyone's readings was really cool. I'm excited to see that moving forward as we each get to offer a different take on something like this. So over the weekend, you read a bunch of really fun stuff. Out by Frost, Nothing Gold Can Stay, Fire and Ice, which I think is just the funnest little short poem. Frost is a little bit snarky sometimes, and so I feel like Ice is his way of being like, we're all going to hell in a handbasket anyway, which is just fun, especially since we all just made it through 2020. So Frost has some fun stuff for us. And then we move into Sandberg's poems, really fabulous work. Sandberg is the first truly modernist poet we're looking at. Frost comes a little bit before. He starts to hint at modernism, as does Susan Glaspell, but they're not 100% modernist. They're just kind of leading us into modernism. Sandberg falls squarely in that modernist category. So we get to read some of his great pieces. One of his most famous is Chicago. He uses a lot of imagery there. We get to read Fog, which is, once again, just a very, very short poem that is all image. He's trying to describe this fog that comes in over the harbor, and he compares it to like a little cat creeping in, and it's just beautiful imagery. Like you can really picture, you kind of feel like you're there, which is awesome. And then his piece Grass, which I discuss in depth in our recorded lecture, is a super depressing poem, but also just really powerful, really, really good. Says a lot about human nature, about the repetitiveness of human history, and that famous saying, those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it, pretty much embodied in the poem Grass. So lots of really great stuff coming from Frost and Sandberg over the weekend. Hopefully you really enjoyed those readings. This week, you're going to be listening to the recorded lectures on Frost and Sandberg in the modules. So I'm going to take you there now so you can see where those are. You're also going to be reading about modernism in American literature. I've got another recorded lecture for you there. I'm trying to spread them out, so you watch that one on Tuesday. Then you're going to submit some modernism reading notes. Do make sure to fully watch this lecture before you submit those modernism notes. Then later on this week, you're going to be moving into Stephen's Snowman, 13 Ways of Looking at a Blackbird, and of modern poetry. Very famous poems there, particularly 13 Ways of Looking at a Blackbird. Each of those stanzas is him looking at a blackbird, but like trying to take it in a different way. So really cool there. We'll talk about that in the recorded lectures on Stevens on Friday. So lots of really great stuff coming our way. I do want to show you where all that recording is located though. So if we go into our class, it's an awesome class, isn't it? It's lit. Yeah. I know you guys are like, oh, Wortley. It's okay. You can roll your eyes. You can do a face palm. It's fine. I am a nerd and I accept it. So click on the modules here. We've got all our syllabus information, our reading schedules. Make sure that you're familiar with those. And then we've got our modernism category. So modernism weeks 1 through 6 has everything we need for modernism. So there's a little document on how to take notes on poetry. Here's an example with Wallace Stevens. We're reading Stevens on Thursday and Friday. So if you need some practice, that's for you there. And then our poet lectures are all going to be here. I've got Frost and Sandberg already loaded for you, as well as the modernism lecture. And I'll be loading the Stevens lecture probably tomorrow. So you'll have all of that available for you. These lectures in PowerPoint form, just download the PowerPoint, click play from the beginning, and that audio narration will play for you. That's the case for the modernism lecture and the Robert Frost lecture. Both of those are about 18 to 20 minutes long. The Carl Sandburg lecture is closer to 15. So if you're trying to budget your time, I do try and keep our lectures fairly short. I do try and cap them at 20 minutes because that's about as long as anyone wants to listen to me rant about how awesome poetry and short stories are. So we'll try and keep it short and light for you there. Lots of excellent material in here, building, of course, on our textbook readings, and then offering some additional insights as well from other scholars, other historical notes, all of that good stuff. So check out the Frost and Sandberg lectures today. Check out the modernism lecture tomorrow, and there will be a Stevens lecture up here for you well before Friday, so you can check that out as well. Lots of good stuff coming our way here. And then we've got our modernism reading notes as an assignment. If you click on this, you'll see the instructions for this. Once again, you're going to be creating notes about the readings that we've been doing this week, specifically about the historical period that modernism covers and the different ways that history might have influenced some of our writers. Specifically, we talk about that in the Sandberg lecture when we're talking about grass. Lots of history contained in that poem. So you could talk a little bit about modernism, reflecting history, talking about war and death and loss and all of that stuff. So good information there. You're going to be submitting those notes just as you did the Trifles notes last week. And that's where we're headed for this week. Always check out the calendars. I've got those loaded for you, everything you need for each day. You can also find all of these excellent materials, like your readings, along with page numbers, are all located for you in the modules tab in those reading lists. So the modernism reading schedule covers the first half of the class. This will tell you what you're reading each day, what page numbers are taking place, all that good stuff. So do check that out as well. As always, I'm here to help, so reach out if you have any questions. Do remember to give me about 24 to 48 hours to respond. That way we can have a dialogue, we can figure out how to best help you. We can schedule a Zoom session if we need to get that FaceTime, that one-on-one stuff if you need that. Do keep in mind, I work very hard to try and keep the weekends for my family, so I am available to you Monday through Friday, whatever you need, here for you 100% over the weekends. I do check my email, but I check it much less frequently. So if you have a pressing question, it might not get addressed until Monday. So do keep that in mind as you're working through things. If you see a due date, that's due midnight on Sunday, try and reach out with those questions on Friday so that I can make sure to get to them before the weekend happens. Have a great week, guys. I hope you enjoy the readings. There's lots of good stuff coming our way this week. So stay safe, have fun reading, and let me know if you have any questions.